Hello everyone, welcome to a new edition of My Data News. Today we brought 3 news from US, Denmark and Belgium. Let's go! On the 14th of July, the US Federal Trade Commission announced that it had finalized an order against BetterHelp, including a fine worth $7.8 million for sharing consumers' health data in a violation of the Federal Trade Commission Act, following an investigation. BetterHelp is an online counseling service that discloses consumers' email addresses, IP addresses, and health questionnaire information to Facebook, Snapchat, Criteo, and Pinterest for advertisement purposes, despite promising consumers that it would only disclose personal data for limited purposes. The order issued by the Federal Trade Commission prohibited BetterHelp from disclosing to a third-party information with the aim of targeting the consumer to which disclosed information pertains. Additionally, some corrective measures were required, such as collection users' express consent and the implementation of a strong privacy and data protection compliance program. The fine will be used to provide partial refunds to the affected consumers. On the 16th of June, the Belgian Data Protection Authority fined the Order of Pharmacists €30,000. In this resolution, the authority assessed 2 important points: the requirement for the use of legal obligation and public interest as legal grounds for processing, as well as the data retention. Regarding the first, the Order of Pharmacists maintains a register of disciplinary cases in relation to its members, and its decision including sanctions. The order invoked legal obligation as a legal ground for keeping this register and the disciplinary case file for management purposes. It referred to a royal decree related to the order's code of ethics, which are rules that pharmacists must comply with. The Data Protection Authority confirmed its own case law and the European Court of Justice case law that legal obligation only works if the statutory provision in question defines the essential characteristics of the data processing, including purposes of the processing, and is sufficiently clear and precise such that its application will be foreseeable for data subjects. In this case, the provision in question did not concern the maintaining of a disciplinary case file or the assessment of recidivism and could not be justified for the disciplinary case management. The authority additionally assessed whether public interest could be invoked as a legal ground, and stated that public interest covers not only the processing activities necessary for the performance of the task in the public interest within the strict sense, but also processing activities necessary to the carrying out tasks linked with that public interest, including processing activities necessary for the management and functioning of bodies entrusted with that public task. In this case, the management of disciplinary cases, but certain counsels of the order could be justified based on those counsels' public interest. Everything beyond could not be based on public interest as a legal ground either. Secondly, if disciplinary case management can be based on public interest, the provision in question didn't define the retention period. However, it could be erroneously to interpret the silence of a legislative text as permitting data processing for an unlimited period of time. Thus, controllers are obliged to define the retention period in any case. In In Denmark, the Data Protection Authority, DataILC-net, has published a guidance on role allocation in research projects on the 14th of July. Since there can be many parties involved in research projects, giving place to several different data protection legal roles, controller, processors, joint controllers, this guide sheds light on the distribution of roles in the most frequently occurring situation through a number of examples. In addition, the guidance contains an overview of the elements that should be emphasized when assessing the data protection roles of each party in connection with the research project, such as the level of control that each party has over the collection and processing. In particular, the guidance outlines the data protection obligations of individuals carrying out research, including university students and supervisors, institutions involved in research such as universities and hospitals, pharmaceutical companies involved in clinical studies, and institutions that sells and transfers the research data. On the 10th of July, the European Commission adopted the adequacy decision for the EU-US Data Privacy Framework, which entered into force the same day of its adoption.
Il ne fait aucun doute que les données personnelles des citoyens européens doivent être protégées de manière adéquate lorsqu'elles sont transférées en dehors de l'Union européenne. L'arrêt Schrems II de la Cour européenne de justice a rappelé les exigences qui s'imposent pour garantir la protection de la vie privée dans un monde numérique, interconnecté et sans frontières, où un transfert de données peut avoir lieu en un seul clic.
It has the effect that personal data transfers from controllers and processors in the EU to certified organizations in the US can take place without the need to obtain any further conditions or authorization. If you want to hear more details from our experts, don't miss out our next live stream of the 17th of August titled EU Adequacy Decision: What You Need to Know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us in our social media channel, subscribe to our newsletter, and see you the next time.